All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we are taking a deep dive into this fascinating world of DevOps.
Yeah.
This is where software development meets operational magic. And you might be thinking, okay, that sounds kind of technical, but trust me, this impacts everyone. Like, have you ever wondered how your favorite apps get updates so quickly without crashing?
Yeah, all the time.
That's the power of DevOps, and that's exactly what we're diving into today.
You hit the nail on the head. We're going to explore how this movement is really changing the game. Think about it. In the past, you had these development teams cranking out code, and you also had these operations teams keeping the systems running. But they were practically operating in separate universes.
Right.
It's no wonder things got lost in translation, leading to, delays and, let's be honest, a lot of finger pointing.
It's like those old sitcoms where you've got the plumber and the electrician constantly tripping over each other, and they're always blaming the other one for the mess,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
Except in this case, the mess could be a website crashing or an app update gone wrong. Not exactly sitcom worthy.
That's a great analogy. And that's where DevOps swoops in like a superhero. To break down those silos and foster a culture of collaboration, it's about recognizing that everyone is on the same team, working towards a common goal, delivering high-quality software quickly and reliably.
So it's not just about getting developers and operations folks to sing kumbaya together. There's a real strategic advantage here.
Absolutely. Think about a company like Netflix. They've completely embraced this collaborative DevOps culture, and it's a huge part of why they're so successful. They're constantly innovating, pushing out new features, and they rarely experience any downtime.
Hold on, Netflix. The company that intentionally breaks its own systems with that Chaos Monkey tool, isn't that counterproductive?
It might seem crazy on the surface,
Hmm.
but it's actually a brilliant strategy. By intentionally causing failures in a controlled environment, they're forcing their teams to build systems that can handle disruptions gracefully. This constant testing and collaboration ensures that when real issues arise, and they inevitably do, their systems can adapt and keep running smoothly.
Wow, so it's like a trial by fire, but it makes them stronger in the long run.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this goes beyond just let's all be friends, and it gets into some serious strategic advantages.
Exactly. It's about proactively identifying and addressing potential issues, minimizing downtime,
Yeah.
and building more resilient systems.
Okay, so we've established that DevOps is about breaking down silos and fostering collaboration, but it's not just about, having more meetings and team building exercises, right? There's got to be more to it.
Right, and that's where the techie stuff comes in,
Yeah.
but not in the way you might think. It's not just about adopting specific tools, although those can be helpful. It's about a shift in mindset. For example, let's talk about infrastructure as code.
Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. I've heard this term thrown around, but I'll admit it always makes me feel a little bit lost. Lay it on me. What exactly are we talking about here?
Imagine, instead of manually configuring servers and networks, you could write code to define your entire infrastructure. It's like having a blueprint for your IT environment, written in a language that both developers and operations teams understand.
So instead of scribbling notes on sticky notes and hoping everyone remembers what goes where, you've got this clear, consistent code that defines everything. That sounds like a game changer for communication.
Precisely. And that's just one example of how DevOps can streamline processes, reduce errors, and improve efficiency. By creating a shared language and a collaborative environment, teams can work together seamlessly to deliver high-quality software at lightning speed.
This is blowing my mind. So we've got Netflix breaking things on purpose to build resilience, and we've got teams speaking the same language through code. What other DevOps magic tricks do you have up your sleeve?
Well, one area that's gaining a lot of traction is DevSecOps, the integration of security practices into the DevOps workflow.
Hold on, DevSecOps. So now we're bringing security into the mix too. This is getting serious.
Absolutely. In the past, security was often treated as an afterthought, something bolted on at the end of the development process. But with DevSecOps, security becomes an integral part of the entire software development lifecycle.
So we're not just building things quickly, we're building things quickly and securely. I like where this is going.
Exactly. By incorporating security practices from the very beginning, you can identify and address potential vulnerabilities early on, reducing the risk of breaches and ensuring the integrity of your software.
This is also fascinating. But I have to be honest, it also sounds a bit intimidating. Shifting to this collaborative, integrated approach seems like a huge undertaking. Where do organizations even begin? What are the first steps in this DevOps transformation journey?
That's a great question, and one we'll explore in depth in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we left off with this tantalizing question.
Hmm.
How do organizations actually make this leap into the world of DevOps? It sounds amazing, faster, more reliable software, better security, but getting there has to be a journey in itself, right? It definitely is a journey, not just a flip of a switch. But think of it like learning a new dance. At first, the steps feel awkward. Maybe you step on your partner's toes a few times. But with practice, you start to move together gracefully. That's what a DevOps transformation is like.
Okay, I like that. So, what are those first few, maybe a little clumsy steps organizations can take to start getting their DevOps groove on?
One of the most important things is to foster a culture of open communication and transparency. It sounds obvious, but in practice, it can be one of the hardest things to change.
Especially in organizations where teams have been working in silos for years, right? There can be a lot of built up, let's call it professional friction.
Exactly. It's about breaking down those barriers and encouraging people to share information freely, to ask questions, and to learn from each other. Remember, in a DevOps environment, everyone is working towards a common goal. That means being willing to step outside your comfort zone and really listen to what others have to say.
So it's not just about talking, it's about really hearing each other, understanding where everyone is coming from, kind of like a good marriage counselor for the development and operations teams.
That's a great way to put it. And just like in a good marriage, you need a strong foundation of trust and mutual respect. That means celebrating successes together, but also being willing to acknowledge mistakes and learn from them as a team.
So it's about creating a safe space where people feel comfortable taking risks, knowing that it's okay to fail as long as you learn from those failures. But it can't just be a free-for-all, right? There still needs to be structure and leadership to guide the process.
Absolutely. That's where strong leadership comes in. Leaders need to champion the DevOps philosophy, set clear expectations, and provide the necessary support and resources for teams to succeed. They need to be the ones who are modeling that collaborative behavior, showing everyone that it's okay to ask for help, to share ideas, and to learn from each other.
So leaders are like the choreographers of this whole DevOps dance, making sure everyone is on the same page and moving in the right direction.
Exactly. And they need to be good choreographers, too. They need to be able to break down complex steps into manageable chunks, provide clear instructions, and offer feedback along the way.
So we've got open communication, strong leadership. What else is key to making this DevOps transformation work? Is there a secret sauce or a magic wand involved?
Well, there's no magic wand, but there are some pretty cool tools and techniques that can help. One of the most powerful is automation. Remember, we talked about infrastructure as code earlier. That's just one example of how automation can streamline processes and improve efficiency.
Right, that idea of writing code to define your infrastructure so you don't have to do everything manually. That's pretty mind-blowing.
And it's not just about infrastructure. You can automate all sorts of tasks, from testing to deployment, freeing up your team to focus on more strategic work. Think of it like this. You're essentially building a robot workforce to handle the repetitive, time-consuming tasks, so your human team can focus on the creative problem-solving stuff that really requires human ingenuity.
That's a fantastic way to think about it. It's not about replacing people, it's about empowering them to do their best work. But I imagine there are still some growing pains involved in making this shift to automation. How do you help people adapt to these new ways of working?
You're right, it can be a big adjustment. That's why training and development are so crucial. Organizations need to invest in their people, providing them with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in this new automated world.
It's like giving them the tools and training they need to become master robot trainers. They're not just doing the work, they're orchestrating and optimizing this whole automated system. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And it's not just about technical skills. It's also about fostering a continuous learning mindset, encouraging people to be curious, to experiment,
Mm.
and to always be looking for ways to improve.
This all makes a lot of sense, but let's be honest, change is never easy. There are bound to be bumps along the way, right? What happens when things don't go according to plan?
That's where it's so important to have a culture that embraces experimentation and learning from failure. In a DevOps environment, mistakes aren't seen as something to be ashamed of. They're seen as opportunities to learn and improve.
So it's like a giant science experiment where everyone is encouraged to try new things, to test hypotheses, and to share their results, both good and bad. That sounds like a pretty exciting and dynamic environment to work in.
It definitely can be. And it's much more effective than the old way of doing things, where people were afraid to take risks and mistakes were swept under the rug.
Right, because in that kind of environment, you're not learning from your mistakes, you're just perpetuating them. So it's not just about being okay with failure, it's about actively seeking out opportunities to learn and improve. But how do you actually put this into practice? Are there any frameworks or models that organizations can use to guide their DevOps journey?
There are. One popular framework is called CALL-MS, which stands for Culture, Automation, Lean, Measurement, and Sharing. We've already touched on culture and automation, but let's dive into the other three.
Okay, let's unpack this COM-AST acronym. Starting with lean, what's that all about?
Lean principles are all about eliminating waste and streamlining processes. It's about focusing on delivering value to the customer as efficiently as possible. It's like decluttering your house, getting rid of all the things you don't need and organizing the things you do need so you can find them easily.
So no more digital hoarding. It's about getting rid of those clunky processes and making everything as smooth and efficient as possible. I'm starting to see how this ties in nicely with automation.
Exactly. By automating repetitive tasks, you can eliminate a lot of waste and free up your team to focus on more valuable activities. It's a powerful combination that can really supercharge your DevOps transformation.
Okay, that makes sense. What about measurement? That sounds pretty important too. How do you know if you're actually making progress on this DevOps journey if you're not measuring things?
You're absolutely right. You can't improve what you don't measure. In a DevOps environment, it's important to track key metrics like deployment frequency, lead time, and mean time to recovery. These metrics give you a clear picture of how well your team is performing and where you can make improvements.
So you're constantly tracking your progress, seeing what's working, what's not, and making adjustments along the way. It's like having a digital dashboard for your DevOps transformation, showing you all the vital stats.
Exactly. And this data-driven approach is essential for continuous improvement. It helps you to identify bottlenecks, to spot trends, and to make informed decisions about how to optimize your processes.
Data is definitely king these days. So we've covered culture, automation, lean, and measurement. That leaves us with sharing. What's that all about?
Sharing is all about creating a culture of continuous learning and improvement. It's about encouraging teams to share their successes and failures openly, to document their learnings, and to help each other to grow and evolve.
It's like building a collective brain for your organization, where everyone is contributing their knowledge and insights to make the whole system smarter.
Yes. And it's this collaborative spirit that really sets DevOps apart. It's not just about individual teams improving. It's about the entire organization learning and growing together.
It's like a giant puzzle where everyone is contributing their pieces to create a complete picture. And as more and more organizations embrace this DevOps philosophy, I imagine we're going to see some pretty amazing things happen in the world of technology and beyond.
Absolutely. We're already seeing DevOps transforming industries like healthcare, finance, and even government. It's an incredibly exciting time to be a part of this movement.
This all sounds amazing, but I know we're just scratching the surface here. What other DevOps wonders await us in the final part of our deep dive?
Well, next time we'll explore the real-world impact of this collaborative revolution. We'll talk about how DevOps is not just changing the way we build software, but also changing the way we live, work, and interact with the world around us.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Can't wait to hear more about this impact zone. See you all back here for the grand finale of our DevOps deep dive. All right, welcome back for the grand finale of our DevOps deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, the culture, the tools, the processes, but now I'm ready for the juicy stuff. What's the real world impact of all this? Is DevOps actually changing the world, or is it just hype?
Get ready to have your mind blown, because DevOps isn't just changing the tech world. It's rippling out to impact all of us, whether we realize it or not.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me some concrete examples. How is this collaborative revolution playing out beyond the walls of software companies?
Think about healthcare, an industry where lives are literally on the line. DevOps is helping healthcare providers develop and deploy systems that can process massive amounts of data, personalize treatments, and even predict and prevent health issues. It's all about creating more efficient, reliable, and ultimately life-saving technology.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's not just about faster app updates. It's about using technology to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges. What other industries are being transformed by this DevOps magic?
Finance is another great example. Banks and financial institutions are using DevOps to build more secure, resilient systems that can handle the ever-increasing volume of transactions and data. It's about protecting our financial systems from cyber attacks and ensuring the stability of the global economy.
So DevOps is like a digital guardian protecting our money and our health. Pretty impressive. But it can't all be life or death seriousness, right? What about the fun stuff? How is DevOps impacting the things we do for entertainment and leisure?
Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about the fun stuff. Think about the streaming services you use, the video games you play, the social media platforms you connect on. All of these are being shaped by DevOps. It's about creating seamless user experiences, delivering content quickly and reliably, and constantly innovating to keep us entertained and engaged.
So DevOps is behind those addictive Netflix binges and those epic gaming sessions. I'm starting to see DevOps everywhere. It's like the invisible force behind so much of our modern world.
That's a great way to put it. And as technology continues to evolve, the impact of DevOps is only going to grow. We're on the cusp of a technological revolution with things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the Internet of Things rapidly changing the landscape.
Okay, now I'm getting really excited. How does DevOps fit into this future world of AI and robots and all that cool stuff?
DevOps is going to be absolutely essential for building and managing the complex systems that will power this future world. Think about self-driving cars, smart cities, personalized medicine. These are all going to require highly sophisticated software that needs to be developed, deployed, and maintained with the utmost speed, reliability, and security. And guess what? DevOps is the key to making it all happen.
This is mind-blowing. It feels like we're on the verge of something truly transformative. But what happens if we don't embrace this collaborative approach? What are the consequences of sticking with the old ways of doing things?
That's a question we all need to be asking ourselves. In a world where technology is evolving at an exponential pace, organizations that cling to outdated practices will simply be left behind. They'll be unable to keep up with the speed of innovation. They'll be more vulnerable to security threats, and they'll struggle to attract and retain top talent.
So it's not just about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about survival in this rapidly changing world. If you snooze, you lose, right?
Exactly. The stakes are high, and the time to act is now. We need to embrace this collaborative revolution, not just in the tech world, but in every industry, in every organization, and in every aspect of our lives.
So what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today? What's the DevOps message you want to leave them with?
DevOps is more than just a set of tools or processes. It's a mindset, a way of thinking that embraces collaboration, communication, continuous learning, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. And this mindset has the power to transform not just the tech industry, but the world as we know it.
So powerful. It's not just about building better software. It's about building a better future for all of us.
You got it. And it's a future that requires all of us to embrace this collaborative spirit, to break down silos, to be open to new ideas, and to never stop learning and growing.
What an inspiring note to end on. This has been an incredible journey exploring the world of DevOps. I hope you're all feeling as energized and excited about the future as I am. Until next time, keep collaborating, keep innovating, and keep diving deep.